Welcome back to another video, guys. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing how cheap dopamine destroys drive, focus, energy, and mood. As you guys can see, if you're watching this as the video format, I am using a whiteboard now. First time trying it, I don't know if I'll continue with it, but I like the idea of being able to convey to you guys visually what I'm trying to get across, like the point I'm trying to get across. I like the idea of being able to create a visual illustration. Who knows how good my artistic skills are? Not me, we're about to find out. All right, so this abbreviation, I created it the other day, and I think it encapsulates cheap dopamine perfectly and how detrimental it is on our overall development. So when I talk about cheap dopamine, I'm talking about things like drinking, drugs, gambling, gaming, porn, social media, just anything that requires a little amount of effort in order for you to get a massive spike of dopamine or a massive release of dopamine within your mind, right? Now you might be thinking, Ricky, what's so bad about that? You know, what's bad about feeling good? What's bad about just, genuinely engaging in things that I quote unquote like to engage in? Well, the thing is, you only have a set amount of dopamine per day. Like, yes, of course, it restores itself, but if you're constantly, this is the moment when I start drawing pictures and we test my ability. If you're constantly draining your dopamine on things like alcohol, drugs, porn, what else is there? Social media, gambling. That's a pokey machine for those who can't tell with my absolute perfection of a drawing. Even gaming, right? For those who are constantly draining their dopamine on these things, fuck, that is horrendous. You're not allowing yourself to have the required dopamine to actually pursue the things you want to pursue, right? So let's say, for example, you want to start hitting the gym and reading, okay? Two relatively simple habits, but it can be hard if you're spending all your dopamine on all this other bullshit, right? So think of it like this. You have, every single day you wake up with a set amount of dopamine and you decide where you spend that dopamine. Think of it like a currency, okay? So if we think of dopamine as, let me wipe this stuff off so we can actually fucking see, that'd be good, eh? If you think of dopamine as a currency, right? So dopamine equals a currency. Something that you have to spend throughout the day. And let's say you only have 10 points of dopamine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 points of dopamine. And you are allocating 4 of those points of dopamine straight away, boom, 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 to social media. Straight away, you're literally starting your day in a depleted state. And then it's like, okay, well, now I have 6 left. Where am I going to put these ones? All right, 6 left. Where are we going to put these? We've already put 4 towards social media. We've only got 6 left. We're spending it, right? All right, we've got 6 left. Where are we putting it? Oh, maybe at lunch or fucking, I don't know, throughout the day, you're going to watch some Netflix. Boom, there goes another 2 to Netflix. Okay, now, we finish our day, work, or whatever the fuck you're doing, and you now have 4 left. You feel like there's just enough maybe to go to the gym, maybe to even read at the end of the day too, to fulfill the promise you kept to yourself. Okay, so what are you gonna do with this? Oh no, but then you get home and you decide to watch porn. Okay, a hyper-stimulating thing that's gonna deplete your dopamine. Now you've only got 2 left. Now it's feeling harder and harder and harder to go to the gym, let alone read. You're trying to motivate yourself to get to the gym. And then you tell yourself, oh yeah, I'll go to the gym after, like I'll check social media for a little bit. Okay, you're checking social media again. And now you've spent another point. Social media, you doom scrolled for a little bit. Now you've got even lower dopamine stores, right? And now you're like, oh my, this feels impossible. And then you're just like, you know what, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. Because what you did at the start of the day, you had all these dopamine points, let's say it's 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you gave them away to this, to this, to this, to this, to this, blah, 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 blah. You wasted all your dopamine. That illustration is fucking horrendous, but we're gonna roll with it. I think the illustrations will improve as the videos go on. But you've spent all your dopamine on irrelevant shit, just cheap things. You've spent your dopamine cheaply. Okay, so if dopamine is a currency and you're spending it on all these things, boom, 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 you're not gonna have any left. Alternatively to this, let's say you wake up and you don't scroll on social media. Let's say you've got a lock on your phone like I do, because social media is designed to literally keep you hooked, engaged, addicted. They have whole teams to keep you addicted to this shit. You wake up and you don't choose to scroll social media. You don't choose to watch fucking Netflix throughout the day. You don't choose to maybe drink and do drugs throughout the day if that's your fucking thing. You don't choose to watch porn when you come home. You have, for the most part, like let's say you've given some dopamine away to some daily things, like even, you know, listening to some music, blah, 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 whatever. That's cool. Like normal things. Let's just N for normal things and T for normal things. Not to be confused with the Northern Territory. Then you get home and you've got 8 left, right? 8 points of dopamine left using this example. So now going to the gym is easy for you because you have all this drive, this motivation, this energy, your mood is elevated, your focus is there, your energy is there, you have all this, and then you're like, yes, you know what, I'm going to the gym. So then you use 3 dopamine points in this example to hit the gym and get fucking jacked, right? So boom, now you're at the gym because you preserved your dopamine, you haven't wasted it on irrelevant shit and just spent your dopamine on these cheap things. And then after the gym, you've still got 5 points of dopamine left, right? What are you going to do with that? Maybe you can fulfill your promise to yourself to start reading. And so you use a couple of them to start reading at the end of the night. Boom. You're reading books now. You're fulfilling your promises. Your self-respect is increasing. You are feeling like you are someone you can trust. Okay? Because when we keep our promises to ourselves, a few things happen. Firstly, when I can find the right color. Firstly, our trust is going to increase, right? And when our trust increases, our confidence will increase. And when our confidence increases and our trust increases, then our self-worth is going to increase. When all these things are going up, boom, 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 you're going to start feeling better and better and better about yourself because you're keeping the promises you set. And then also, as well as this, when this is happening, your self-respect is going to go up as well, by the way. Like basically anything to do with self, like self-respect, self-love, self-worth, self-confidence, self-trust, all this stuff is going to go up. And then all the things that you would have otherwise felt when you don't live in alignment with what you say you're going to do are going to go down. So things like, I don't know how I feel about turning my back on the camera, but anyway, we'll roll with it. Things like shame, self-betrayal, betrayal. What else? Shame, self-betrayal, self-loathing, loathing, etc. Right? So all these things are going to go down. Boom, boom, boom. So these things are going up, these things are going down, and you're going to feel like a better person. I'm not saying that avoiding cheap dopamine is the solution to all your problems, but it is a really good place to start. Honestly, like if you just think of this little example here, like think you've got like dopamine points or like a currency of dopamine in which you spend and allocate throughout the day however you see fit, and you be a little bit more wiser with that. You know, you don't just wake up and waste it on social media and porn and drinking and drugs and gambling and whatever else other bullshit you are using to provide yourself with a hyper stimulated, you know, sense of dopamine, or a release of dopamine I should say. You're naturally going to have more motivation, word jumble. You're naturally going to have more drive, which is otherwise known as motivation. You're naturally going to have more focus, more energy, and a elevated mood. And then so what would have otherwise required so much willpower and, you know, amping yourself up to just go to the, like what would have otherwise required all that requires fuck all, because you're just like, this is just like, of course I'm going to do this, right? I'm a big believer that, let me wipe this stuff out too for now. I'm a big believer that humans do very cool shit when we're bored. Humans do cool shit when they are bored. Okay, and in this whiteboard marker seems to be ruined, but anyway, when we allow ourselves to get bored, when we're not constantly stimulating ourselves and constantly exposing ourselves to this form of hyperstimulus, we do cool things. We naturally want to cure that boredom, right? But if you don't give yourself the option to just resort to this cheap dopamine shit, like I'm bored, I'm going to scroll social media, I'm bored, I'm going to watch Netflix, I'm bored, I'm going to watch porn, I'm bored, I'm going to do this, do that, when you take all those options off the table, you're still going to get bored naturally, of course. But what are you going to do when you get bored? I can tell you from personal experience that you're going to do some pretty cool shit. Like, I've been running a bit of an experiment with myself lately where I'm basically just like limiting my social media use, because that was the largest place, or the most dopaminergically stimulating place that I was getting cheap dopamine from. Like, I was just like, oh yeah, phone's there, scroll, social media, doom scroll, right, we've all done it. But when I started to cut that out, and I like literally made a promise to myself to limit, if not fucking eliminate, all short form consumption, like reels, I can't even tell you how much more drive, focus, energy, and mood that I've had. Like, honestly, it's night and day, but you don't understand it until you experience it. I can sit here talking all day on this video, but until you experience it for yourself, you won't actually know what I'm talking about properly, right? So allow yourself to get bored, cut out the shit in your life which is providing you with ridiculously high amounts of dopamine without you having to put in any effort or sort of like action towards it, just something that's so easy. And allow yourself to seek that dopamine out from other things. Like, I get bored now, obviously, and I found myself doing things I haven't done for years. Like, I literally found myself the other day sitting down and drawing a picture. I was like, I haven't drawn a picture since I was a kid. But I was like, this is cool. Like, I was like connecting to my younger self through that boredom. And I'm writing a book at the moment. So like, yesterday actually, I got 20,000 words in. And now anytime I'm bored, I'm just like, what do I want to do? Obviously the urge to go on social media is still there, but I'm just like, I could write in the book. I just write 500 words in the book, cool. 1,000 words in the book here, 500 words there, blah, blah, blah. It builds up. Allow yourself to be bored, but you can't allow yourself to be bored if you haven't yet cut off all the bullshit that's keeping you in a hyper stimulated state constantly. But when you do remove those things, you do allow yourself to get bored, you're going to find a version of yourself which is so much different to what you are currently showing up as. And in my personal opinion, it's a better version of you. You're more creative, you have a higher mood, you have higher levels of focus, you have just in general like more drive. You are a better version of you. And I speak to a lot of people about like reading books. Like, I always recommend to people, oh, you should be reading, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's so good for you. And they always say, I wish I could, I don't have the attention span, or I can't sit down and focus on one thing for a set period of time. And I'm like, yes, obviously, because you're constantly scrolling social media, you're constantly watching fucking porn, you're constantly engaging in all these things which spike your dopamine up ridiculously high. So in comparison, reading is boring, or writing a book is boring, or going on a walk without any music is boring. But if you cut those things out of your life, you restore your baseline. And so what you perceive as pleasurable or desirable or fun, or even just the ability to sit down and write for an hour straight, you have these abilities again. You've restored your baseline. So guys, I hope you got something from this video. I hope you gained a lot of value from it. I hope you enjoyed the whiteboard method going on here. I think I want to continue it. Let me know in the comments below if you think it's a good idea, if you believe like it's more engaging or easier to follow along with when there is a whiteboard in place. Obviously, I have to work on my drawing ability, because right now we're looking a little bit like fucking Mr. Doodle, or whatever the fucking that guy's name is with the big pencil. Anyway, let me know if you guys want me to continue. I think I want to continue, but I'd love your opinions on it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. If you want more videos like this, feel free to like the video, comment below what you think, share it with your mates, because that's how I actually grow this stuff, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you guys, I'll see you on the next one.